One moment. There we go. It's
Bim
signed.
bam boom.
Hello. Good morning, Alex. Nice and cold down in Melbourne, I assume.
Yeah, it's not cold, but it's just it was cold in the morning, and then once you start putting on because I've got Asian hair, so once you've got once you've got the beanie on, you don't really want to take it off.
I know.
Yeah.
I've got the European skull, but that doesn't always help. Yeah. Oh, another episode of Marketing Live Jam.
Yes. Well, for those of you who are watching, welcome back to another episode of Marketing Live Jam, where we give profitable marketing advice in real time. So this is the time where me and Ori are put on the spot and just jamming out on various marketing concepts. Obviously, we've got some content to go through today, a bit of an agenda, basically a bit of a follow through from our last episode a week and a half ago. But if you are watching and you're curious about, okay, what could these guys possibly come up with in regards to my particular situation, feel free to go on this link, csharpgroup.com.au/live, to fill in a little bit of your details, just show us a couple of things in terms of what you're doing with your marketing. And then we are going to feature you in our next episode to give it a bit of a live jam.
It's it, live and raw. That's I also thought just before that we have so many conversations behind closed doors on marketing and just client campaigns and all that stuff, and
mostly making fun of people, to be honest.
But there is a lot of valuable information in there that yes, I know it's raw and it's unfiltered, but often I think we want to hear the unfiltered stuff because marketing has this perception that it's so easy. But there's so much happening behind the scenes, and the easier it looks on the public facing end, the harder it probably is. And so we just want to pull the curtains back and just jam around, and with the hope that it adds value to you. And that's why the most value we can provide is when you actually jump on a call with us, so that we can specifically hear about your business and help you solve a problem in your marketing journey.
That's it. So for the dozens of people who are watching right now, feel free to put in the comments, where are you dialing in from? What do you... Okay, let's just do one question. Where are you dialing in from? And your favorite band?
And we will put this the music track on for the next Marketing Live Jam.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting, because if they put in Metallica, I don't think
we'll make it very subtle in the background,
right? Or some German death metal.
We just use some AI to make death metal really soft, and then we see how that goes.
Yeah.
But hey, if you do, this is the link. You can just go to csharp.au/live, submit your just your name and some details so that we know who to contact, and then we can work on some marketing stuff live.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So what's on the agenda today, Ori?
So we last week, I'm sure you remember, we had lovely Pete on the show, and we actually didn't end up having a lot of time to work on his marketing, because we got so excited about his business and what he's doing, and just had a really cool conversation. So if you're watching this for the first time, then go back to last week's episode and just have a read through. It reminded me how important it is to ask the right questions, and it's usually by asking the right questions that you get good answers. And that's why we never want to skip on the deep dive in what we need to understand in order to bring your marketing forward. Anyone can just create a website and put it live, but is it actually going to move the needle for your business?
Absolutely.
And that's why asking questions is so important.
Absolutely. Good morning, Trader Benji. We'd love to know where you're dialing in from, and if you were catching earlier part of our conversation, who is your favorite band, so that we can put some music on when we're doing these live jams. To your point, Ori, very legitimate. We just came off obviously last week, we just came off a 2-day consulting session with a Bible college, a very
Yeah.
prestigious Bible
That's it.
college here in Australia. Um, and we basically spent 2 days just talking and whiteboarding. I mean,
Yeah.
it is we do have a framework and a facilitated process and whatnot, but most of the actual content of the consulting was, a lot of talking, a lot of discussions, a lot of, thinking through different strategies and
Yeah.
whatnot. And it is so necessary because people don't take time. They're always thinking about the next thing to do,
Yeah.
and are there more optimizations we can do? They get really tactical,
Yeah.
um, and sometimes we lose perspective of why we're doing it. Yeah, it's great that you would have a fully optimized website for an architecture business,
Mm.
and your acquisition cost is fully optimized, and then month by month you're just thinking, oh, how do I go about making it better, 1% better, and so on, so
Yeah.
on and so forth, which is not wrong, which is
Mm.
perfectly fine, right? But
Yeah.
why we want to be asking questions around why is a fully optimized website and fully optimized Google AdWords the only thing that you do in
Mm.
marketing, and what are some of the other strategies that you could implement, um, in order for you to have that compound effect, right?
Yeah.
Um, so going back to your point, yes, even though we spent most of our call last time with Pete talking and I'm really unpacking his business, but it is so crucial for us to have those
Yeah.
conversations first before we actually get into building something.
Yeah. When somebody explains the business idea or the website to you, what are the three questions that you ask them to help them understand, where they sit, what they are, who they should talk to? Do you have like some go-to questions that help you articulate?
Hmm. Sorry, got it. Sorry, you cut off a little bit. Go again.
Well, what are your go-to questions when you step into a consulting or boardroom to help someone think through what they want to do?
Oh wow, what is the number one go-to question?
Yeah, or you might have a couple, but
Well, look, I think we use the word low-hanging fruit a lot,
mm,
because contrary to what I just said, yes, we need to take time to do a deep dive and whatnot, and then sometimes we tend to stay in the cloud, right?
yeah,
We just go, okay, here's the high level, here's what the 10-year view is going to look like, here's what a perfectly executed marketing program looks
mm,
like, right? But we come back to earth and ask, okay, so based on everything that we've talked about, what are some of the low hanging fruit projects, or
yeah,
deliverables that we should focus on that will move the needle towards the goal, right?
yeah,
So yeah, we do want to go to high level. We do want to take time, but at the end of the day, what is the actual tangible projects that we can execute in the next 90 days?
yeah,
Uh, is the important output
mm,
that we're seeing out of this
yeah,
process.
yeah, yeah. And also, it's a good way to test the theory of, if we have a slightly new messaging direction, let's test it with a project and see if it resonates, and then
Absolutely,
we
yeah,
can course
yeah.
correct.
So some of the questions would be, okay, so we came up with this new messaging strategy or this new idea and whatnot. How do we know that this is not just some pie in the sky
Mm,
idea that we
yeah,
feel good about, and then we're going to deploy 50 grand on a rebranding exercise, just to roll it out, right? Well, hang on a minute. Before you go down this whole big investment, change management, change all the collaterals and whatnot, okay, what are some of the mini steps that we can take, low hanging fruit projects that we can actually roll out to test if this message actually resonates with the market or with the people that you want to target to, right?
yeah, yeah,
So and that's where quality strategy comes in, or quality consulting comes in, where we don't just say yes to ideas or give people a blank no just for the
yeah,
sake of it, right?
yeah,
We want to facilitate those conversations and then find ways for us to actually validate those ideas before we embark into a major exercise in whatever, rebuilding a website, rebranding,
yeah, yeah.
and changing things drastically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, why don't we actually get to work? We have done, about an hour's worth of deep dive with Pete last week, and
Mhm.
I'd be really keen to actually put, some pen to paper, as we say, and actually create something that will hopefully be useful in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's do that. And why don't you give us a bit of a recap for those who didn't watch the last episode? What was so we obviously spoke to someone. His name is
Yeah.
Ben. What kind of business is he in? What kind of marketing is he
Yeah.
doing?
His name
And
was Pete,
how
but yeah.
Pete? Sorry.
Um, so his company is actually called Pinpoint Buyers Agent. So he's a buyer's agent in the Bellarina Peninsula, so Geelong area. Very focused on that particular area. A buyer's agent that helps predominantly young families buy their first or their next home. Yeah, so
Mhm.
less focused on investors to get the financial ROI, but more helping people find the forever home or the home that they really want to live in rather than just invest in. And so he's very focused on that personal level to help someone find a home.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's the kind of the main thing that I remember.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So buyer's agent for
yeah,
sure. So some of us know what a buyer's agent is. Probably not a lot of people understand that what that term is in Geelong, and let alone if someone wants to buy their first home, they
yeah,
probably wouldn't think of a buyer's agent. So there's a level of market education that needs to be in place.
yeah.
The other thing which makes sorry, what's his name again? Pete.
Pete.
Pete more unique is that he predominantly service the the owner occupiers market, right?
Yeah.
So most buyer's agent would work for investors, so it's all about numbers and locations and growth trajectory and all that. But what Pete does really well is to really unpack the dream home
Mm,
uh, for someone under a budget, and then goes out there and find that dream home
yeah.
for them. So it's highly personal, quite emotional as well, which is
Mm,
actually quite good from a marketing point of view, because the more emotional you get, or
yeah.
the more emotional you get, the bigger the transaction is likely
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that came to mind is that actually I think it just left me. Um,
So his
is
number
I
one marketing strategy.
the well just quickly one thing that stood out is that he is. Oh, it just left me again. Um, yeah, I
Come
think
on,
it's because you
German,
interrupted me.
switch on the brain. There you go. That's the spirit of the marketing live jam. Is just it is definitely live. This is not recorded. Okay. Well, I
um,
think one thing also came to my mind was Pete has a very unique lead generation strategy at the moment. What is that?
he actually has a side business which is a pool fence certification company.
Hmm.
So he goes to homeowners that have a pool, and in Victoria, as of I think last year or maybe a bit earlier, you need your pool to be certified, that the fence is in order, etc. And so he jumped on that opportunity, got certified to provide these inspections, and then whenever he certifies the pool, he says, "Hey, your next inspection is due in 4 years. Will you be here?" If they say yes or no, we're planning to move, there is his foot into the door to start a conversation about selling your home.
Absolutely. That is so smart. I think from our last conversation,
Yeah,
he services around 500 homes per year, which basically gives him the opportunity to ask 500, ask the same question 500 times.
yeah,
Will you likely to be in the same home in the next 4 years?
yeah,
If the answer is no, then he's all of a sudden he's got a bit of a list uh, that he can create in a spreadsheet or a CRM and whatnot
yeah,
to go and to go and vet these people further, whatever
yeah,
that he does, right? He definitely is he's very smart about leveraging his existing resources to generate leads
yeah.
for his business. Very creative.
It has come back to my mind what I wanted to say, and I'm going to try to not forget it for the third time. But is if I'm thinking of buying a home, my first thought is I'm going to contact a real estate agent.
Hmm.
And I think that's for most people, that's kind of the traditional way, they think of buying or selling a home, they go to a real estate agent.
Hmm.
Makes sense. A buyer's agent is slightly different, where they actually they are there to help the buyer
Hmm.
and not the seller. Real estate agents work for the seller and buyer's agent work for the buyer, which
Hmm.
gives them a different perspective and are the perfect middleman to deal with the real estate agents that is selling the home
Absolutely.
or the
Yep.
private person if it's off
Yep.
market.
Yeah.
And that's where his service is really beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to your point, right? The going to a real estate agent if you want to buy a home is probably one of the worst moves you can make. Uh, because as you said, the real estate agents usually work for the buyers, which means that the sellers, which
Yeah,
means that they are incentivized to sell or move the stock as quick as possible. They actually couldn't care less about what's on your wish list.
yeah,
So the other avenue would be spending weekends on inspections and your work nights at home going online, or your toilet breaks, just looking on realestate.com left,
yeah.
right, and center, and just bombard yourself with
Mm.
options. But if you work with a buyer's agent like Pete, all of that is going to be taken away from you, because all you need is to give Pete a fresh download in terms of how many bathrooms I want, how many story, how big, what's my lifestyle, yada yada
Yeah.
yada, and then he's gonna go to work to find you a dream home.
Cool. Well, hey, let's spend a couple of minutes just quickly looking at his website. And then from memory, he wanted to focus on either young families or tradies to have a specific niche that he can focus on. Rule of thumb, if you try to target everyone, you're not targeting anyone. And the more niche you are, the more you can adjust your messaging, your choice of words, etc., to really speak into the problems that that particular audience has. So let's have a quick look at his website, and then we'll see
Yeah.
where we go from there.
So while you're setting up, let's talk to some of the people who have left a message. So Ben, you were in Melbourne last November for a workshop,
Oh,
and
Ben.
Ben, I actually don't remember. I feel so terrible because I do these things all the time, and then remind me. Do you remember Ben from last year's workshop?
I think from the remote, he's doing websites for remote countries, in the remote,
Oh yeah, that's right. I think he'll be from
one of
Lismore
Richard's
or Byron
friends.
Bay
Yeah,
somewhere. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. Okay, well,
Can't remember the
thanks for
company.
watching. Thanks for staying on, and I hope your business is going well, and I hope you're implementing some of the strategies that we taught in the workshop. And I think from your friend Richard, you guys are looking at coming back to our next workshop, which is going to be in May.
Awesome,
So we look forward to hosting you again.
awesome.
For the half a dozen people who are watching, again, just put in where you're dialing in from, who's your favorite band, or if you want to cut to the chase, give us your number one burning marketing question so that we can have a bit
Awesome,
of a live jam today. All right.
awesome. Cool. So this is Pinpoint Buyers Agents. Headline: Simplify your ideal home purchase.
Hmm.
What are your initial thoughts, Alex?
Initial thought is I like it, because certainly it speaks clarity to a certain extent. So simple ideal. So again, we have talked about this numerous times. When someone jumps on your website or look at a headline or look at any sort of ads or marketing collaterals, three main questions that they want to be asking. Number one, what do you sell? How? Secondly, how is this going to make my life better? And number three, what do I do to buy? Right. So it happens. I don't know what happened today. I actually have a blurry screen today. So all that I
Oh,
can read right now is simplify your ideal home purchase. Okay. Which is, I can't even read the call to action buttons and whatnot, but that's not the point. The point is, your headline would definitely capture 95% of my attention. And if that speaks to me in split seconds, you are winning half the battle already. So
yeah.
I like it, because I know that somewhat somehow you are going to help me to achieve an ideal home purchase, which is cool, right?
Mhm.
Which is also a bit of a filtering mechanism as well, because if I'm not in the market to buy a home, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just going to leave the website, or because you don't have, I don't have anything to
Mm.
to do business with you, right?
Yeah.
I would be thinking twice about simplifying the word, right? Um, I understand that you are trying to bring to the table, or the proposition that uh, purchasing your home is a complicated process, right? I'm just not sure right now if complication is the number one problem that I'm
Mm.
facing. I'm just leaving that as a question,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Ori?
Um, Yeah, like when I think about, the someone having to buy a home, I feel like there's so many things that I don't know.
Hmm.
So I definitely I like that he's writing with a specialist, but as you said, like it goes hand in hand that it's complicated, but
Hmm.
it's less about the process and more about the confidence that I'm doing the right choice.
Hmm.
I think that's my
Absolutely.
my gut feeling.
Yeah. Look, I understand in real estate nothing is guaranteed, but what your customers would probably want to see is some sort of assurance in terms of timeline and budget,
Mm,
right? So buy your dream home, like either like you could just 1% better sort of headline language, right? Like ideal home purchase can be swapped with dream home, right? So buy your dream home
mm,
in 90 days, or or buy your dream home in 90 days within budget or something, right? So
yeah.
I think when it comes to buying my home, there are basically, I think, three deciding factors for me to choose to work with someone or
Mm,
not. Is this home that I'm buying really ideal, or am I settling for the second best, right?
mm.
How much, and what's the timeline?
Yeah. When can I have the keys?
Yep. When can I get the keys at what cost? Right.
Mm,
So if it's gonna be if it's gonna blow the budget, forget it. Right. So yes, I want a dream home, but I want it under budget and as soon as possible, basically. Right.
yeah.
Um, I think one of the things that you want to highlight in your copywriting and also branding and customer experience as well is this sense of VIP treatment, or boutique um, sort of customer experience,
Mm,
because buying a home for 99% of the people is their biggest purchase of their life, and we're talking about tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
yeah.
So it is a huge decision, and they
Mm,
don't want that decision to be hastily treated. And that's usually the vibes that you're getting from real estate agents, because all they want is just move stock.
mm,
So they would just try and push you or pressure you into making a purchase, and most of the time people don't feel comfortable about that, right? So I think from a messaging point of view, three factors that you want to hit: you're going to buy your dream home, it's going to be under budget, and it's going to be as soon as possible,
mm,
right? That would be quite important for me to highlight. And then for the rest of your website, or in different sections of your website, uh, you want to demonstrate, instead of just saying we care, we're passionate, we're
mm.
blah blah blah, right? How do you go about demonstrating that when you make a decision to do business with me, you are subscribing for a VIP boutique personalized service?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, should we get started? Should we actually do it?
Absolutely.
So this is, I think, a one-page website. Yeah, has a few sections, and I know that Pete knows StoryBrand, so he's tried to implement some elements of that already. What I would like to do is to assume that this website doesn't exist and focus our attention on a particular audience.
Mm.
I know he's serving first home buyers, family home buyers, and investors. Let's try
Hmm.
to go with that tradie um, audience, because the idea last week was, hey, if he can create some really simple business cards with a QR code and go to construction sites and give it to some people, that might
Hmm.
be a way to start the conversation
Yep.
really quickly, and that QR code would then go to a new page.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna walk you through the process that I think works really well at the moment,
Hmm.
in terms of taking discussions that we've had with someone to then create a landing page reasonably quickly, without relying on AI. We Without relying on AI completely, still using a bit of human brain and some sensibility to create
Okay.
a landing page.
Wow. So you're
So
not using AI today?
no, we are definitely using AI, but we're using AI strategically, because there are some website AI tools. You just put in a prompt and then it spits out a full website,
Yeah.
but they are not usable in the market. They are nice
Yep.
gadgets and they're nice for some YouTube shorts, but
Mm.
they're not usable in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you want to use AI in key places. So just for a bit of context, what I've done, I have transcribed the video from last week so that I have the context, also that I have the data from the conversation, and then I have summarized that transcript into basic business information, target clients, etc., the market recommendations that we had in the call, and then also the brand scripts from what we discussed in the call. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just good context for whatever we use. And this is what we often do. We record conversations, we focus on asking the right questions, and then we can use that transcript and pull out the information that we need for the particular campaign or page that we built.
Love it.
And we have found this to be very, very effective because it means you can pay attention during the meeting. You're not scribbling and taking notes too much. It's all transcribed and you can always refer back to it.
Okay.
So I have this as a basis, call it, piece of knowledge. What I also like to do is to create a brand voice guide. This takes about 5 minutes to create. We could create it now or just skip the step. What do you think? Do you want to create a quick brand
Yeah.
voice guide?
Well, if it's going to take 5 minutes, why not?
Okay. So
This is to demonstrate how much work that actually goes into making the AI work.
yeah,
Because I think most people will be like, okay, I'll just copy and paste something, some prompts that I've downloaded from some expert AI people,
yeah,
and then everything's just gonna work for me. No, it
yeah.
actually takes a lot of work.
So if you really want to understand how brand voice style guides work, etc., you can watch this in slow motion. I'm gonna speed through it reasonably quickly, but the whole idea is, hey, I need a piece of information that tells me or that tells anyone or a machine how I want to sound. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the design style guides or brand style guide with logo fonts and colors, etc. What is
Mm.
the audible version of that, or what are the words? What's the messaging version of that? And that's where a voice style guide or a brand voice is quite helpful.
Yeah.
So we start with understanding your brand. The benefit of that is I can now upload any information. Actually, I will start again with this information. I will just download the transcript analysis that I have and load it in.
Keep going. I'm just gonna get a stool.
Yeah, yeah. Business info. Okay. So now it should suggest some options. Okay, I've got all the key details. Okay, business name is Pinpoint Bias Agent. Okay, here's what I've got, the business name. Okay, business name is, and then what do? You're a bias advocate agent specializing in helping owner-occupiers, especially traders and families in Geelong, purchase their ideal home. Yeah, that's,
Yep.
yeah, and the core message, I help hardworking traders and families in Geelong buy the dream home confidently without the hassle or emotional turmoil, handing them the keys in just 90 days. Now, this is taking it from the conversation that we had last week. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this is also great to understand that what you put into an AI tool is really important. And if you don't ask the right questions, you don't have the right input.
Yep.
Yeah. So more than knowing how to write a prompt is actually what to say in the
Yeah.
prompt.
Yep.
Okay, so now quickly understanding your ideal customer. Primary customers, owner-occupiers, tradies located in Geelong. Let's just focus on tradies for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then customer struggles and pain points, lack of
Yeah.
confidence.
I'll be interested to know. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what AI comes up with, because to connect buying your dream home to specifically to the trades
Mm,
um, is a missing link that I'm still trying to rack my brain around. Right?
yeah,
How do
yeah,
we go about creating a message that is compelling enough so that a tradesperson would want to buy their dream home through this channel?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, good point. I'm actually going to say Yes, that's great. Okay, now how should your brand feel to customers? Yeah, a few options. If your brand were a person, how would you want a client to describe it? It's almost like if you meet someone, what are they like? You know, some are really extroverted, some are introverted, shy, or really loud, and your brand can come across the same way.
Yeah.
Um,
I think in this case, because we're trying to appeal to tradies, and tradies are, they don't like fancy words. They
yeah,
don't. They're very straightforward. They want honesty, and they just basically want to take everything at face value.
yeah,
So just tell me plain and simple what it is, and I'll make a decision to buy it or not.
yeah. So would you say down to earth and supportive? You're like a mate who's got your back.
Yeah, down to earth, trustworthy. I try not to use the word honest because
Yeah,
everyone's perception of honesty is different, but trustworthy. So big thing about, especially when it comes to dealing with agents and whatnot, is can I
yeah,
trust you? Um, Simplicity, and and easy. Like they
yeah,
just tell me what the process is, how easy is it going to be,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah,
Well, it's almost like if they do business with you, how do they feel?
yeah.
Right, let's
Um,
go with that. It's gonna lock it in. Yeah, okay. Now a brand tone and style. That's similar to brand personality, but we can always and it's gonna suggest what to do. Now let's fine tune how you communicate. Where do you see your brand voice? Please suggest based on context.
this is the time where you have to put some music on.
Okay. I can do that. I keep forgetting that.
Well, that's why the people who are watching, you got to tell us your favorite music so that we can play
Yeah,
something. Because if you ask me,
there we
it's
go.
jazz all day, every day.
That's the name, jam session. Okay, so what are your thoughts here? Formal versus casual, 7. Enthusiastic versus reserved, 6. I think for the sake
Yeah,
of time, we just go with it.
yeah.
Important
I'll
note
tell
is
you
for
what, I actually can't. I don't know why I've got a blurry screen, so I actually can't read any of the text up
okay,
there. So I'm happy to go with whatever you say, and I'll just chime in.
but you obviously only have to do this once because you create your brand style. Like you don't have to do this for each landing page.
Yeah,
But it shows a bit of, hey, these are pieces of information that we want when we create marketing collateral. That's why I'm just gonna speed through it and trust AI a little bit just for the sake of time.
sure. Yeah,
It's gonna say, hey, what are core messaging pillars? What are things that you want to re-emphasize all the time? No confusion, no overpaying. I actually like that. Expert negotiation. We discussed last week that negotiating is often a hurdle for first home buyers or everyday people that are not used to buying and selling. What are words and phrases you should use often? So, whether it's a tagline or just things that you want to reiterate all the time. And then what are words that you actually don't want to say and exclude them from your vocabulary?
yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful. So let's just say that's great. Let's move ahead. I think the music might be a little bit loud.
So is this a custom GPT that you've built?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a custom GPT?
So think of your ChatGPT. Yeah, you type anything in, and it just gives you a response based off all the knowledge and just whatever your prompt says. A custom GPT gives you a window of instructions where you can customize the output. And so instead of giving you one response, you can, for example, create custom workflows where you say, this custom GPT is for creating a brand script, and then ask me all the questions I need for the hero section, ask me the questions that I need for the problem, and then for the guide. And so you can create a more customized experience to get to the desired output.
Wow. Okay.
And like you see a bunch of different ones here.
Yep. And how how much work does it take to actually create a custom GPT? What's the benefit? I guess my question is, what's the benefit between using custom ChatGPT versus
Yeah.
just a chatbot?
Think of them as SOPs.
Mm.
Yeah, SOPs for AI. So SOP stands for standard operating procedure. If you want the AI to behave in a certain way, like you would an operator of any task, you want them to do something a certain way, so you create custom instructions for that.
Mm.
Yeah, with the power of AI.
SOP for AI.
Yeah. So,
there you go.
Something I included is voice archetypes. I've only recently heard about what they are, but they're different personas and different ways you can sound and come across as. And some people put them into archetypes. So I found that quite interesting. So the everyman, for a tradie, this is probably a good one. Relatable, friendly, down to earth. Speaks in friendly, approachable, and trustworthy tone. Think of IKEA. Yeah, very everyman's brand. So let's go ahead. And you can obviously tell the custom GPT to refine certain things or exclude things.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're almost done. I just want to show you what the output of that will be. And cool. So now it's going to generate, based on all the responses that we've had, it's going to generate this custom voice style guide. And then again, we can use that to create marketing collateral. Okay, it's generated that. So what I will do now is I will copy this. I will put it into a new tab here. I will paste this in.
Magic.
And I will brand style guide. I will export this file, download. Cool. So now we have information about the brand, but we also have a way of how we want to sound when we communicate to the public. So now what I want to do is I go to Reloom, which is a website builder, or a great tool to map out websites and plan them and kind of design them. So what I want to start, I use it a lot. So you start with a sitemap. We've talked about sitemaps in previous episodes, but I want to give Reloom an overarching, hey, this is what the brand is about, and this is what the purpose of the brand is. And then I go into page levels. Now, because I'm lazy, I've again created not a custom GPT, but a prompt for it. So I'm going to load my prompt into here for prompt Reloom sitemap. I'm going to just bring this in a moment. So what it's doing is just saying, you are a prompt writing assistant for the AI builder. Scan and analyze this information for me. I'm going to put in the website, use this brand voice style guide for context, and I'm going to say see attached. I'm going to attach it to here. Where was it? Brand voice draft. I think that was it. And then also use the attached.
This is like the ninja stuff that you go through. If we use it in the context of music, this is you showing how the DAW works. The digital audio workstation. All I want is just music. Now you're showing me the production of it.
Yeah, pretty much. It gets a bit geeky sometimes, but that's also the fun of it.
I'm actually glad that people are still staying on to watch this. It's awesome. Maybe everyone's geeky.
Well, it's that's why it's we're pulling the curtains back in on all these YouTube videos. You just get like the 10 minutes of here's how I built a $10,000 website in 5 minutes. Like but there's so much that goes behind it, and
absolutely it does not take it doesn't take 5 minutes.
No, never. Okay, so now I'm saying, hey, I want you to include company description, brand tone of voice, the primary audience, the primary CTA, what are the goals of the site, and then just an example to kind of guide the output. Now this would just be needed to guide Reloom on what I actually want to create. Yeah. So it's generated now company description, pinpoint buyers agent, helps hardworking tradies, etc. Tone of voice, primary audience. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste this in here. And I just want to make sure that it's all right. So primary audience, owner occupiers in Geelong, including first home buyers, upsizers and downsizers. So I'm actually going to say, particularly tradies looking for a hassle-free home. Now, what do you think the primary call to action should be?
Let's get a little bit creative with tradies, because tradies are not going to go online and book a call, most of them. Let's just go tongue-in-cheek. Let's grab a beer on us. Get a free Friday beer or something.
Maybe something with Friday footy. Or like meet up in the pub or something.
Yeah, something like that. Look, this is not gonna be the recommended call to action, but just for the sake of the exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. Grab a beer grab a beer on us at the pub or something. Let's grab a beer. That is probably the worst call to action.
That sounds like a date.
It's like a let's get started thing.
Okay, then okay, now we have the primary sitemap. We are only doing one page, so I'm going to delete those that we don't need. And I actually, I usually delete the section that it has generated because I want to create the page prompt first. The page prompt, page. Okay, let's just find it. Prompt Reloom page. Okay, so main goal is to generate leads. The audience is tradies, and CTA is let's grab a beer. Okay, I've included main SEO keyword if that's something that is important to you. You could include that, but not important for us. Why I wanted to show this is a section order that I recommend for landing pages. Yeah, you have your hero header with the main value proposition. You then go into the problem, or sometimes when you tell AI tools about a problem section, it talks about like the problem with XYZ, and so I'm playing around with different descriptions. So you go into the problem, then the value proposition. You introduce some empathy on why you care about the problem, essentially, some benefits, social proof, etc.
Yeah.
So this I use this to generate the page, and now it's already given me some description on each section. Yeah, welcome message, brief description of services and primary CTA. Now I already know there's stuff that I want to change, but before I change that, I want to go into the wireframe and just make a quick visual check with the layout, because sometimes I know already there's too much text. I want to reduce a few things. There might be some sections that I want to delete. So I'm going to quickly change up a few things. So this will be the audience challenge. I'm just going to see, maybe there's a better, I like this one with, where I can list some problems. I'm going to delete a few things. Then this one will be about the main value proposition. I think like a grid with like 3 columns might actually be more useful. So I can just type in 3 columns here. So maybe something like...
well, one line that came to mind is hardworking trades deserve a beautiful lifestyle.
Hardworking trades. Oh, actually, let's keep this in mind.
Yeah.
And then this one will be the empathy section. So actually that's where it would be good to put in. But I want to use a bit of a different section. Maybe this one here. Then this is the list of benefits. So we have the value proposition already. Let's just get rid of this one because we're going to try to put most of it in the value proposition here, which I actually prefer layout 240. I actually prefer this layout here. Let's get rid of this one. Testimonial, always good. Then the product offering. So because this is a lead gen exercise, you're not going to sell something specific on here. So I'm going to delete the pricing here. This will be the plan section on how to get started. The offer, this is where we could say, get your dream home in the next 90 days or something like that.
Yep.
So we'll see. FAQs are great as well, but I'm going to change this into a contact form to collect the leads. This one will be fine. And then final CTA, that's okay. I'm just gonna make these sec CTA. I like this one with this. And again, it's just playing around with the layout. If everything looks the same or has too much text, you don't want to overwhelm people too much. And so I'm going to delete a bunch of things that I already know that I won't need. The logo here, don't need too many buttons.
So Alan says he can't read it. What are you referring to, Alan? Is this screen too small for
Maybe
you?
It's too small, yeah. So now that I have the layout set, I will go ahead and regenerate just the copy. Yeah, I've set the layout, etc. And it's going to regenerate the copy, and hopefully it's smart enough to use the same CTA across the board, which I doubt, but who knows? So it's the same beer here.
That's the thing with AI, not necessarily very consistent.
Yeah, here says learn more, so I don't like that. The famous worst call to action.
Yep. What are some of the worst call to actions that we've seen?
Too many, but put it in the comments. But learn more is definitely one of them. Learn
more, get started, view our portfolio, view our company history.
Yeah, how we started.
Yep.
Okay, now this is full
Why
geek
us?
mode.
Why us is another one.
Oh, yeah. This now is full geek mode. The way I try to see AI is I'm going to try to use AI as much as possible to preserve as many brain calories as possible to get to 80%, and I'm going to use my brain to finish off the last 20%.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Use
AI to conserve calories.
Yeah. So again, I haven't seen anyone do this like I do and how I use this process, but this is how I currently do it. I will now export this as HTML, and then I will go back to ChatGPT and say, hey, I don't like this wireframe. Here's some context. Please make it better. And that's why I created the brand style voice guide and the transcript analysis, just to always stay within context.
All right. So why don't we spend the last 3 minutes of our call together to do that exercise to see what kind of output we get.
Yeah.
Right? We probably won't have time to go into the human mode. Maybe next episode we'll come back and finish it off. But so that we can actually see the full effect of your methodology, let's put the HTML back to ChatGPT and see how good it gets. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm also ready for a test. So this is now upgrade your Relume AI IO HTML export, which I've just done, into better website copy. So I click on improve my copy, and now it's going to say, hey, great, I've got a guide, etc. Now here's what I need from you. I'm going to say, I'm going to upload what is the HTML? Okay, one sec, let me just drag it in from here. Okay, I can just copy it. One moment. Here we go. That's a bit easier. So I'm going to upload the brand voice draft and the transcript analysis. Attached is some company information and a brand voice guide. Here is the HTML code. So thanks for providing the brand voice guide and transcript analysis based on these, this is how you want to sound, etc. And what else did it say? Okay, this is just the code. Yeah, next step, I now improve your landing page copy while maintaining your current section structure. So summary of improvements, I'm always curious on what it thinks it should do. Stronger headlines, clear benefit-driven and stress-free messaging, more conversational and relatable tone, emphasize unique selling points, simplified user journey, and stronger CTAs. Now, let's have a look. So this is what it came up with, and what I like to do is put them side by side. Actually, I will copy this again, create a new page here, say landing page copy. Paste this in, and now put this in next to here. Now this might get a little bit small, so you might have to rewatch this with a higher resolution, but just to kind of show the process. Just to recap, we have collected a bunch of information about the business. We have created, let's call them AI assets to feed the AI with a bunch of information. We have created a draft wireframe to know, where we're going to put some content, where do we put headlines and paragraphs, and what's the section order. And then we've taken that out and said, hey, ChatGPT, now with this layout, please use your context and your information to improve the website copy on this layout. And now we want to just compare them next to each other so that we then have the wireframe with the improved copy. Yeah.
Okay. What is it again? I can't read it. So what's the headline say now?
So it's saying your stress-free home buying journey starts here. That sounds like AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
so maybe
didn't improve
exercise for us next week. We'll just spend maybe another 10-15 minutes on this from a human point of view. So I'm going to share my screen next week with this output, and then maybe we'll be able to change some copy there with the human copywriting with some human copywriting geniuses.
Yeah, I feel like it actually didn't change much. Okay, this looks better now. So it's saying your dream home without the headache. Stress-free home buying for traders and families. Finding a home should be exciting, not overwhelming. At Pinpoint Buyer's Agent, we take care of the search, negotiations, and paperwork, so you can focus on what matters.
Yeah, so my challenge for that is how is this specifically for trades businesses?
Yeah.
That is one big thing that I'm always trying to get over the hump. What is so unique about trades businesses when it comes to buying their home? Yeah, we can come up with copywriting offers that they would go, shut up and take my money, right?
Yeah, because it could apply to...
You could apply to so many things. Like you can go to a hairdresser and say the same thing, right? Yeah.
So I just... And that's, again, with AI, you have to do this all the time. You tell, hey, you didn't do this, or, redo this, etc. That's why I just said, hey, you didn't do it, improve it. And so came up with something better.
Yeah. But the good thing is we've got problems to solve, right? We
always...
we've spent about 45 minutes trying to work the AI machine to come up with something that we haven't thought about, but at the moment we're probably not seeing something super surprising or that something that we haven't thought about before, which means that we need to deploy our human brains to actually solve this problem, right? How do we make it so how do we make the messaging of buying a home, engaging a buyer's agent to buy a home as a trade so compelling? How can we make that messaging super compelling so that he can go on a job site and start handing out these flyers, and these guys are like, yep, shut up and take my money, right?
I would be really curious to run a head-to-head competition of a copywriter and an AI operator to see who can come up with a usable wireframe within 30 minutes or something.
Well, the human can't compete with speed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So we definitely will lose. We're not we're unable to compete based on speed. But as far as quality, I have every confidence that the human will still beat the AI by a million miles. Given the human is a good copywriter.
Yeah. Cool. Well, always exciting, and we're always playing around with toys and seeing what works and how we can increase efficiency without losing the quality of work.
Well, there we have it. For those who are still staying on, good on you guys. You guys must be geeks because most people will fall asleep over this AI stuff. But I think Ellen and Benji, hopefully you guys are still on. Thanks for watching. There are a couple of things. Again, if you are curious about what optimized marketing or marketing copy could look like for your business, feel free to go to our link, csharp.au/live, to submit your collaterals for us to review, to critique, and hopefully work on as well. Or if you are one of those business owners out there who are still unsure what marketing decisions that you need to make for your business for the next 90 days, you are more than welcome to come to our upcoming StoryBrand workshop happening in May with the link that you're seeing on screen. We'd love to host you there. We'll spend 2 full days together going through not only StoryBrand, but how to outline a sales funnel, how to outline your content marketing strategy, how to use AI to your absolute advantage, and so many good stuff. Again, we have people coming into the room before the 2 days are absolutely confused about what they should do in their marketing, and they walk out with a confident pitch, a video pitch they can use just within 48 hours. So it's definitely a highlight of our year when we host these workshops, and I can't wait to get back into it in May.
So 1st and 2nd of May, it's going to be a Thursday and Friday. If you're flying in from Melbourne, you can obviously stay a bit longer, but it's an awesome time and a really, really good way to focus on your next marketing move rather than just playing random acts of marketing all the time.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks for joining, and we will see you back next Thursday. So we have finally nailed down a regular time that we get on and do this stuff, and that will be on Thursdays, 11:30, I believe, a.m.
You'll know about it. I'm not sure. I think 11:30. Yeah.
So every Thursdays from next week onwards, 11:30 Melbourne time is the time that we have scheduled for me and Ori to get on these calls regularly. So until next Thursday, 11:30, have a good week.
Can confirm. 27th, 11:30 is when the weekly starts.
There you go. So every Thursdays, 11:30 Melbourne and Sydney time. And we will continue our marketing live jam where we give profitable marketing advice in real time. Until then, have a good week. See you next time.
See you soon.